Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking you through lots of different tips on how you can smash your group exercise at any assessment center for any company. Following these tips has helped me land jobs at Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, HSBC, Accenture, and legal in general. And so I hope that by following these tips, you can do the same for yourself and land your next internship or graduate job. So let's get straight into it with a brief summary of what an assessment center actually is. An assessment center is usually the final part of any application process for an internship or graduate job. So generally speaking, the application process has about 4 different steps. So the first step is when you submit your CV and your cover letter online. After this, if you get through, you'll get to the online tests. Once you pass the online test, you then get to the video interview stage. And if you pass the video interview stage, you then get to the assessment center stage, which is usually the final stage. In this video, we're focusing on the assessment center stage and the group exercise in particular. If you want some tips around the video interview stage and how you can smash that, then please watch this separate video that I've made that's on screen now. For the group exercise, you're usually put into small teams of about 4 to 6 people, and you're given a case study to read alongside some questions which you need to answer once you've read the case study. After this, you usually have to present a final solution back to the assessors as a group at the end. Okay, so now that we've covered what a assessment center is and what a group exercise is, let's get into some tips about the group exercise, starting with time management. Time management is a crucial part of the group exercise, and therefore it's really important that you divide your time effectively between the different aspects of the group exercise. For example, if you're given 45 minutes for the group exercise, you might want to spend 15 minutes reading the case study as a team, depending on how big the case study is. You then might want to spend 15 minutes, discussing different answers amongst yourself. And then you might want to spend the last 15 minutes coming up with a final solution and putting that together in a presentation and practicing that presentation before then you then have to present to the assessors at the end. So as soon as the exercise starts, I would advise that you volunteer to keep time to show your good time management skills. And as a result, once you volunteer to do this, it then becomes your job to tell the group every 5 to 10 minutes that the 5 to 10 minutes have passed and they should soon be moving to the next aspect of the group exercise. Also, don't worry if somebody else beats you to this, and if somebody else volunteers to keep time instead of you, or you forget to volunteer, you can just then, gently remind the group every 5, 10 or 15 minutes that they need to move on to the next aspect to again show the assessors that you're still keeping track of time and that you're not just relying on other people. The second tip is all about being a good team player. So when you're discussing things as a group, you'll often find in the assessment center that people want to take the lead in the discussions. They want to be the ones to steer the conversation, to demonstrate their leadership skills to the assessors. This is a really good strategy, and so to demonstrate your leadership skills, you might want to be the one that helps to steer the conversation. But just make sure that when you're trying to demonstrate these leadership skills, you're not being overbearing and you're not dominating the conversation and not giving other people a chance to speak, because the last thing you want is to be interpreted as a bit of a dictator by the assessors, which will mean that you probably are likely to fail the group exercise. As a result, just make sure that you're being a team player and giving everyone an equal chance to speak, making sure that you're not cutting anyone off when they're speaking and just giving them and treating them with respect. Also, if somebody is not contributing to the discussion, a good strategy is to actually pull them into the discussion. So if somebody's not talking about anything, it's good to ask them, what do you think of this point, and help them get into the conversation, because this basically further demonstrates your team working skills, and more so it also demonstrates your willingness to make people feel involved in the process, which is really important and a great skill to have. The third tip is all about the fact that there are no right answers. So what I mean by this is that the case study is constructed in a way to show that there's no obvious right or wrong answer. The main objective of the group exercise in general is for the assessors to assess your team working and communication skills. So because of this, make sure that you're being really diplomatic in how you're speaking and what you're saying. So for example, if somebody's being really dominant and they say a point that you absolutely disagree with, do not at any point get into an argument with them about what's right and what's wrong, because there is no right or wrong answer. Instead of telling them that they're wrong or that you just don't agree with this at all, another good way of saying this would be, that's a really good point, but have we thought about this instead? And then going on to offer your perspective. This makes it look like you're a team player, that you're a good communicator, and more so you're a critical thinker as well, because rather than arguing with someone, you're thinking about their perspective and then offering your own thoughts and seeing, which one's better and which one the team should go with altogether. Tip number 4 is all about building on the points of others. So another method to show that you've got great team working skills is to build on the points of others. For example, if somebody mentions a point that you are going to say and that you agree with, instead of just thinking that they've beaten you to that point, you could say something like, that's a great point. Just to build on that, we could also think about this and then offer your perspective further. This basically shows that you're acknowledging the good work of others, which is always great. You're praising other people for their good points and, being respectful of that. And then it shows that you also have the ability to build on the work of other people, which again shows that you've got great team working skills and that you're also an analytical thinker who can build on the ideas and work of other people. Finally, the fifth tip relates to being able to think commercially. So for all roles nowadays, it's really key to have a commercial mindset. So, whatever role you apply to, whatever company it is, people want, young employees that are very commercial minded. And so it's very important for you to understand some basic business concepts at the very least and research and understand them, meaning things like, you understand what revenue is, what profit is, what fixed and variable costs are, what a market share is, and so on. And so basically try and learn what these concepts mean. And then when you read the case study and you're trying to answer the questions, try and fit some of these concepts or try and base some of your answers around these concepts to show that you're really commercially minded, that you understand these business concepts, and you're thinking about the business from a profit and loss perspective as well. That brings us to the end of the video. Those were some key tips that really helped me smash the group exercise at various different companies, and I hope that they can help you too when you go on to apply for internship and graduate jobs. I hope you found the video useful, and if you did, please hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.